The params keyword in C# is a powerful feature that allows a method to accept a variable number of arguments as a single parameter. This eliminates the need for multiple method overloads when handling different number of parameters. So consider a scenario where you want to have an add method and you're adding in two numbers together. So no big deal, right? Now what happens if someone comes along here and says, hey, I need another method that adds 3 parameters. All right, well then we come over here and we add another method for 3 parameters. Boom, okay. And now we've got another request for 5 parameters. What the, man, seriously? Like, dude, why don't you just tell me that in advance? Oh, if life could be that easy where they would just know what they needed day one. Right. And then the code's out there, and then a month later, hey, I need 4 now. You can see that this can get hectic, and it's just going back to the code for no reason, really, because we've got this cool feature called the params keyword. So we can simplify this, because it quickly becomes inefficient when you have so many overloads, but it can all be replaced with a single method, a single very, very beautiful, elegant method here. And the way we transform that is we get rid of all the other arguments. We just have the one, and we give it the keyword params for that method. I renamed it to numbers because it just makes more sense. We'll go here, numbers, and we'll sum that up. And then bada bing, bada boom, you got it all right there, right? It compiles nicely. It does some lovely math for us. This adds up to 15. And you only have one method that handles all of these. So very, very cool. It reduces the need for multiple overloads. It allows the method to accept a variable number of arguments, which just makes working with it much, much easier. So what if we had a method that printed a data table, right? So you pass in a data table, right? So let's get a data table here. We get something from database, and we've got a data table here. And now we want to print out all, so DT, and I want to print out everything. I don't want to leave out any columns. So with the params keyword, you don't have to pass anything in. This keyword can actually handle nothing. But if you wanted to not print out the ID field and maybe the modified field, you just add it in. Or it's just the ID field, so on and so forth. It's the beauty that one method can handle it all. And even it can handle nothing at all, which is very, very nice. Very, very, very nice. It's like having an optional parameter. What you can also do here is you can create an array. Right, so let's go with the columns here. So if we create an array called column names, all right, so we're gonna do 2, and we're gonna go ID, and yeah, let's go with name, like that. You could actually pass that in, because that's actually what's happening here behind the scenes, but we'll get to that in a minute. Something that you should be aware of when you're using the params keyword is it must be the last parameter in the method definition, right? So let's get rid of the printing the data table. All right, because printing or adding numbers is a little bit easier. So if you had another parameter at the end, my new number, it does make sense that it complains and you will get a compiler error, because it would be hard to figure out where this parameter ends and this parameter begins, right? So it needs to be on the end. Also, you can't have multiple params keyword within a method, because it essentially violates the other rule that it can only be on the end. Nothing can be beyond it. It has to be the last parameter. So that is those. And it supports all different kind of types. You can do objects, you can delegates, custom types, whatever you want. You can also, the upper limit is like 2 billion. It's something obnoxious, which I don't think anyone would ever come across a situation like that where you would be passing in more than, 1 billion. But yeah, so you could have a tremendous amount of parameters being passed in here. So that's not going to cause a problem for you. So let's understand what's actually happening behind the scenes here. The params keyword is purely a C# feature. It's not in the intermediate language. The compiler actually transforms the params keyword into an array internally, and then actually passes it to the method. So, this is something you want to consider when, there's a performance critical scenario. You might want to create method signatures for the most frequently called, parameter count. So let me give you an example here, and which will enlighten 2 areas about params here. So the thing here is we've got 2 parameters right here, and let's just say that's going to be used 98% of the time. So let's create a method for that, right? So let's go here, num1, num2. All right. So what happens here with the params keyword is that this add method, it's going to, when it's being called, it's going to check to see, hey, is there a method definition out there that matches the amount of parameters that I passed in? Yes, it does. So it's going to use this one. And then over here, we've got 3 parameters being passed in with the params keyword. Is there a method definition? No, this doesn't match. Then it defaults to the params keyword, right? So when you have, performance critical situations, you might want to consider using, defining the method explicitly instead of using the params keyword. But I mean, it's such a slight performance cost. You'll know if you need it. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. The params keyword, it's a powerful tool. It enhances flexibility, reduces code redundancy, improves readability. While it may have minor performance implications, its advantages far outweighs the drawbacks in most scenarios. And definitely understanding its behaviors and best practices, you can write more efficient and maintainable code this way. All right, hope it makes sense to you. All right, catch you in the next one.